Thank you for your remarks. And my question relates to the youth involvement with President Obama's administration. One point that he made, the president, is to go to Cairo and talk to all of the Muslims in the Middle East about what they can do to better the situation. But what about the youth in America?
In fact, I spent about 3 hours yesterday with President Obama talking about a number of issues with several other people from the White House. And we talked about the issue of global engagement and strategic communications, and emphasizing the point, we all did, that there is a global engagement strategy and requirement, but we need to make sure that we have the domestic engagement as very much a part of it. And we talked about my address here this morning and the need to continue to ensure that we're able to interact, because not just reaching out to you for the sake of our own sort of homeland security and the well-being of our country, but you and people that are represented here have your relationships and contacts and travel frequently overseas. You need to be ambassadors in your own right, in your communities, in your schools, and as you travel and interact overseas. As I said, this is hard, but it requires constant attention. And as we talked before with some of the leaders of the community prior to my remarks this morning, talked about the importance of resources being dedicated to it. And also I will say one other thing on this issue. After 9/11, our country really responded remarkably to the attacks on 9/11. And we did amazing things to make this country safer. And this country is a much less hospitable environment for terrorists to carry out attacks here. And that's why we've been very fortunate, because of very hard work that was done. But we can't just be focusing on the finding terrorists and extremists and stopping them from carrying out their attacks. If we think about the process of extremism and becoming extremists and terrorists, it's a continuum. It starts somewhere. I like to think that everybody is born into this world with a certain amount of innocence to them. And unfortunately, sometimes as they go through life, forces of evil will bring them down a certain path. We cannot have just the counterterrorism, law enforcement, homeland security communities focusing on this, because then we're just looking at the end of the continuum where terrorism and extremism and radicalization has already taken firm root. We have to go upstream. We have to look at those issues. And we are trying to engage more and more with behavioral scientists and other things. What leads a person to join a gang? What encourages a person to start that process toward becoming a violent extremist, whether it's with a religious banner or something else? We need to address this in our systems and our societies and our communities. And so therefore, I think what we're trying to do in the Obama administration is to reach out. And the people that are here today from the various parts of the U.S. government are those representatives and those ambassadors that hopefully it's going to take root. You know, just like the movement that led to President Obama's election, I like to think that we're going to feel this common shared responsibility for addressing our security issues.